Michelle, by the way, thank you for pronouncing my name correctly. My name is Bill Conry. At a show last week, the host introduced me as Bill Cosby. Wasn't the vibe I was looking for. But I've been traveling a lot. I was in India recently. And this might come as a surprise. I stand out just a little bit in the country of India. I don't really have my breed out there. And a lot of people there wanted to take photos with me. I was on a ferry outside of Mumbai. And this little girl came up to me and was like, can you take a picture with my family? So of course I did. You guys in the front row can see this. So you know I'm not making up this story. Real touching moment. I had him send me the picture. They're walking away, and I overhear the dad say, I can't believe I just met Jim Carrey. I didn't have the heart to tell him. 2 days later, I'm in Goa, India. If you haven't been to Goa, it's kind of like the Mexico of India, except somehow the food makes you shit even more. I'm in Goa, same thing happened. This time it was with some lads on the beach. We shared some laughs. They're walking away. One of the lads says, was that really the dad from Modern Family? If you didn't get that one, Google Phil Dunphy Modern Family. This is my whole act, by the way. Just name celebrities I resemble. Is there anybody I missed? Yell it out.
Bill Cosby.
That's racist. I was at a show 2 weeks ago. Somebody yelled out Christian Bale. Another guy yelled out Christian Bale with AIDS. And another guy yelled out, this joke has gotten old, move on. So I will do just that. So I'm from the US originally. I live in Dublin, Ireland now. The Irish Times called me an up-and-coming comedian to watch 7 years ago. So I grew up outside of Philadelphia. I went to university with Michael Phelps, the Olympic swimmer. Thank you. If it weren't obvious already, he and I were the big men on campus. Me and Phelpsy. Let's just say that between the two of us, we slept with 36 women. Also between the two of us, we won 26 Olympic gold medals. You're wondering how those numbers break down. I was at the Edinburgh Fringe Fest in August, and I was talking to a waitress at a cafe, and she said, where are you from? I said, take a guess. She said, I think you're from America, but I don't want to offend you if I'm wrong. So I told her I'm Canadian. And I met a girl in Dublin, Ireland just last week before I came here. I was kind of flirting with her. I introduced myself. I said, my name is Bill. And she said, Bill, you must be American. And I said, yeah, could you tell based on the name? I guess Bill's a very common American name. She said, no, it's because you seem stupid. She might be on something. I've had a great time here in Barcelona. I've just been here for a week. I really love the food culture in this city. I had an excellent dinner last night. And then I found out it was lunch. I can't get used to the food schedule in this country. The late lunches, the late dinners. Ireland, we eat early. The first day I got here, I walked into a restaurant for dinner at 6 p.m. There's one guy working in the restaurant setting up the dining room. Both of us were confused. I think he thought I was there to make a delivery. I like to do little focus groups during my comedy sets. Is that okay with you all? Okay, well, I got the microphone, so we're going to do it fucking anyway. How many of you think that your phone is listening to you and then feeding you relevant social media ads based on your conversation? Show of hands. Yes. All right, most of my shows, most people agree. But Facebook, Apple, they deny it. Sometimes there's just no other explanation. 2 weeks ago, I'm talking to a friend on the phone, and I said, I'm about to eat at Taco Bell. I'm about to eat at Taco Bell. Remember that. 5 minutes later, I go onto Instagram, and what do I have an ad for? Diarrhea pills. How did it know? But social media, smartphones, they're ruining a lot of things. One is catching up with old friends. I saw a buddy back home in Philadelphia over Christmas last year. I hadn't seen him in 20 years. I was like, Ryan, how are you? I live in Ireland now. And he's like, oh, I know. He's kind of like, we don't have to have this conversation. He says, I know from your Facebook that you live in Dublin. I know from your Instagram that you perform comedy. And I know from your TikTok that you're not fucking funny. One kind of weird thing I learned from just being on social media in Europe, being exposed to different cultures and languages, is that when English-speaking films are released in international markets, the titles are often lost in translation. And some of you might be able to relate to this. There's a ton of examples, but here's just a few of my favorites. Has anybody here not seen The Sixth Sense? Late 90s with Bruce Willis? You have or haven't?
Seen, yes.
You have seen. Okay, the question was who has not seen it. Pay attention! But if you haven't seen it, it's known for a twist ending, which I'm about to reveal. The film came out 30 fucking years ago, so it's on you at this point. In China, the title of The Sixth Sense translates to, He's a Ghost! Spoiler alert. And my favorite, Forrest Gump, we all know Forrest Gump, late 90s, Tom Hanks. In Russia, the title of Forrest Gump translates to Dumb American. Which incidentally was my nickname when I moved to Ireland. One thing that's funny about living in Ireland, the weather is just pretty shitty. I had a buddy move from Dublin to here in Barcelona. He's not at the show tonight, doesn't support me. But he was bragging that Barcelona gets 300 days of sunshine a year. Fuck you guys. But he's bragging about that, and I didn't know how many does Dublin get in comparison. I wanted to benchmark, so this is true. I Googled how many days of sunshine does Dublin, Ireland receive annually. The only result you get on the front page of Google is 1,400 hours. You know they're hiding something when they have to convert the units. People ask me, Bill, how much money have you made as a stand-up comedian? I tell them, I've made 1 million. Vietnamese dong. I just wanted to say dong. But I'll end with a quick story. So my claim to fame is that I'm an extra in the opening scene of the film Contagion. You guys don't look very impressed. Nobody ever is. Show of hands, how many people have actually seen Contagion? All right, my parents were here, they've seen it as well. If you haven't seen it, it's a film about a pandemic that takes the world by storm. And in 2011, when it was released, they classified it as a sci-fi thriller. Come 2020, they reclassified it as a documentary. So I shot at Midway Airport outside Chicago. I was originally just walking in the background on the concourse. There was about 100 extras until an assistant director grabbed me and said, we actually need you up front. He brings me into the airport bar where they're actually doing all the filming. If you've ever been on a film or TV set, it's actually very intimidating. There's all the lights and the cameras and the crew members. I noticed that 6 feet in front of me is Steven Soderbergh. He directed Ocean's 11, Erin Brockovich. 6 feet to my left is Gwyneth Paltrow. She started Goop.com. Where I buy my vagina-scented candles. So anyway, we shoot 10 or 12 takes. It turns out it's literally the first scene in the film. You could check it out if you want to fact check me after this. And I was so nervous. I've never been in a film before. I didn't know what to say. I didn't have anything to say to her. So we're sitting literally me to, is it Brian? Me to Brian. Don't say anything for about 90 minutes. We're wrapping up filming. I decide I have to say something to her. When would I ever have this opportunity again? I'm thinking of all the films she's in, and I had just watched 7. If you haven't seen 7, I'm also going to ruin this film ending. Final scene of the film, Gwyneth's decapitated head is in a cardboard box. Very chilling cinematic ending. Without thinking, I just blurted out, hey Gwyneth, I'm glad to see your head is still connected to your shoulders. I didn't realize how awkward it was until it came out of my mouth. It gets her attention. She slowly turns her head. She stares into my soul. She looks angry and then a little bit confused. She turns back to Steven Soderbergh and yells out, why is Jim Carrey here? You guys have been great. I'm Bill Conry.